I think this is also very important to have Annemie. As you see, we have done, in a way, due to the constraints, a bit of a more simple
Movement International, and we have Guy as president, Domènec as vice president, and that is why I'm not going to make a full charade on treaty changes, because I think that thanks to you there, EMI will be very strong on treaty changes. I will not have a long speech on treaty changes, but still let's make it clear that from the EMI point of view, they are a precondition to achieve really the result, the full set of results from the COFWE and the recommendation. And since we are one of the organizations that is the closest to citizens, not to in the way of civil organized civil society like in the EC, but I would say the real citizens from the ground. We think that this reform process needs to be done in a participatory democracy style. The convention we would call for, the Convention 2.0, should be a convention that involves citizens, and this would be per se a revolution compared to the convention we know, the convention from the past. Why I dare saying those that have connection with the real citizens is the reason why Petrus and I were late is that we are just coming out from an event where Valentina and Ehud had the opportunity to exchange with Enrico Letta about the future of the single market. This was an event primarily organized by SGI Europe, but Enrico, when he started when he was mandated to draft this report, expressed the wish, I'm sure not to you, not to the Vice President Šuica, so it's not your fault, whoever in the Commission told him that it would have been too complicated to have a participatory democratic exercise. He would have liked to have a dialogue with citizens, to know what's your view, what do you need from the internal market that today is not there. And it was simply, the time was too short, and that's why EMI offered to, at the small level, so small side, to be this kind of mini participatory democracy exercise. We had the first test today, and we want to have something bigger. The citizens are super well coordinated. Those present had coordinated with all the ambassadors, but we want to have a meeting online where everyone can participate. And why I mention this? Because this debate is the example about how the conference conclusion can be really a already made guidance for the future EU institution. When Valentina, it was Valentina representing everyone, when she started to express to Enrico Letta what the citizens view as necessary for the future of single market, I thought you had prepared some speaking notes from wherever, not recognizing that you were simply quoting the conference conclusion. You took it from the text, which is already there. And I think that for Letta, it was an extreme richness to know that he had already the answer to his questions. Of course, as you represented all of us as citizens, you mentioned things that for the moment are not in the single market. For instance, Valentina mentioned the fact that it's difficult to fully exploit education, and there are too many borders. The answer from Letta was, yes, but this is not internal market. Why not? Not yet. So that's your part. That's where the Parliament and the Spinelli group can be the front runner of changing something that is not up to date anymore. Why education is not in the European competence, in European Union competence. But then there is the part of let's do it. And that's what Oliver is doing, because many things will require time. It's not realistic to us now for a convention. We know it's not going to happen. We need to wait the new election and the new institution. But there is a lot of stuff that we can do in a let's do it mode, not waiting for the institutional machine to get it done. Now, there are institutions like the ESC who has a lot of money, and you can do, yes, already a lot. And then there are modest but very visionary and innovative organization like the EMI, who has in mind, and thanks to the leadership of Guy, I hope that we will be able to make it, to say, okay, if the next parliament and the next commission do not have appetite to continue this participatory exercise, let's do it. We think in the EMI that really each European Parliament, each mandate should hear from the citizens directly at least twice within their mandate. So we are in the let's do it mode, but very clearly, and maybe there is appeal here, we need the money to do it because it's a great project, but we need to find the funding. And I'm sure that our brain coming together will make it possible if the institution don't want to take it up. I mean, our preference, my preference would be that the new institution take it up. But if for whatever reason, the next commission, next parliament, I leave aside the council, they were assisting, there were spectators. But if the next commission and the next parliament don't want to do it, let's help us giving the means to do it. Thank you.
Very well, Valeria. I think those are very practical points that we can, I think, take on board very well. And now we continue, we go back to the institutional side with Colin, who is representing today, but representing very well because you were so very much involved as the Commissioner and Vice President herself, Dubravka, Šuica, in the whole process of the conference. So thanks again for being with us.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. And first of all, as you mentioned, unfortunately, Vice President wasn't able to be here herself, but she asked me to convey her wishes to you all. I think it's very well timed because almost exactly a year ago we had the formal feedback event in this very building. I believe it was on the 2nd of December. And certainly from a personal perspective, I think it's extremely useful that in a way the spirit of the conference remains, because in reality there is still a lot that has been done, but also a lot that needs to continue to be done. I think the conference was many things. And among those many things, I think it proved that engagements with citizens on this scale and on this level produces meaningful results. Because I think if we look at the output, at the measures, at the proposals that Mr. Verhofstadt and others have referred to, these are meaningful proposals, and in the full spectrum of issues that they covered. But I think it's important at this stage to ask ourselves the question: have we delivered on those proposals? And I think I would add a second question: have we been seen to deliver? Because I think both are important. Because I think that the citizens clearly did their job. They came up with these very coherent and very meaningful proposals. But then it was up to us, the institutions, the people who design policy, and then the ones who decide on that policy, to do their bit as well. Now, the first part of the question, have we delivered? From the point of view of the Commission, I would certainly argue that we have. When we look at the details of the proposals, where it has been within our competence to act, the Commission has taken initiative on a very large number of these measures. Maybe not in full. Maybe there are certain aspects which still needs to be worked on, but it's enough to say that the Commission work program for this year, 2023, and also for the next year, 2024, are to a very large extent determined by the ideas and the initiatives that came out of the Conference on the Future of Europe. Among many others, one very important is the fact that we have embedded citizen participation, deliberative processes in the way that we design policy. So far, we've had 3 of these panels on specific thematic issues. We will have more next year. Only yesterday, the College of Commissioners adopted an initiative on anti-hatred as a result of recent events where we've seen a rise in anti-Semitism and anti-Muslim hatred and other such acts. And one of the things that's mentioned in that initiative is that there will be engagement with citizens, specifically also on this topic. So even something as sensitive as this is something that can be put to a debate directly with citizens. The mention was made of the digital platform. I would personally agree that it was a shame that the digital platform could not continue in the form that it was conceived, but we are working on launching a new platform in the Commission which will bring together all of the citizen participation initiatives that we have, ranging from the consultations on the various initiatives, the citizens panels themselves, the European Citizens Initiatives. We have the Child Participation Platform, which is a new tool which was launched earlier this year, where we have engagement with children of all ages on a variety of topics. So all of this will come under one digital roof, which is inspired by the multilingual digital platform that we had for the Conference on the Future of Europe. So I think we can say that we have delivered on issues ranging from consumer protection to the protection of children online, to demographic change, parental rights, disinformation, media freedom. These were all proposals which came from the conference and which we have acted on a wide range of issues. Of course, we have also said that on the issues where treaty change is required, the Commission is in favor of going forward with this process, and we want to engage in this discussion. The slightly more tricky question is, have we been seen to deliver? And I think there we certainly could probably have done more. I think the European Parliament has done a lot to raise the profile of the work that has been done. I think that events like this are also an opportunity to be able to highlight what we have done. But I think it's also true that if we look around the room, there are many familiar faces. So we're not necessarily reaching the widest audience that we could possibly be reaching. And I think there, both individually as institutions, but I think collectively, we should try to see what more we can do. Because I think one of the great things about the conference, I like to half joke that the best thing about the conference was that we did it together, and the worst thing about the conference was that we did it together. But the reality is that it really was very meaningful that we came together as the three main institutions to organize this unique process. So once again, I thank you very much for the opportunity to contribute in this way.
Well, thanks again, Colin, for the concrete examples of what the Commission has done as a response to the conference and to the plans for the new platform. I think this is really probably for all of us very good news. And indeed, it is true that we have to continue reaching out. I totally agree with you. I hope that the fact, I know that from the side of the citizens panels, you are very good at keeping in touch with each other through WhatsApp groups, I believe. So I hope you will spread the word of what we have said today. And also, of course, Oliver, you represent the entire European civil society in the committee, no? So, and probably we can maybe also, Guy, under the Belgian presidency, continue these sessions because Annemie has been able to provide an assessment. We have the other citizen panelists. You focus on the part that you knew best, which is the democracy, but there are other topics that probably need to be also followed up by the citizens, no? On all the other working groups proposals. So now we continue with the rest of the participants. Maybe we can, I want to see if there are, we can take maybe in addition to the colleagues that are in the first row, two, three people from the larger room, if they can be concise, and we take note now. If we can take, if everyone, there is anyone that would like to speak, to take the floor from the room. This is the moment because I need to be conscious of the time. Not for now? Okay, well then we move to Valentina. So you can also provide your let's try to be as concise as the colleagues. You have behaved very well here in the, I didn't have to cut anyone. Huh? You want to say something? No. And then so everyone can speak without rushing. So please, Valentina.
Okay, thank you for giving me the floor. And what I can say just all of a sudden is that I'm very, very pleased to see that the COFWE results and the COFWE spirit is still alive, and that not only citizens who really believed in the process, also politicians and institutions are still supporting the ideas brought up from the debate and from all the works that's been done. I think that's and still we as a former ambassador and as a citizen, I still hope that most of the important changes that we asked for will be carried out, that is the treaty change and most of the reforms required to a real, true development of the European Union. Thank you.
Thank you, Valentina. Well, now we'll continue with the mixing. Marco Cilento representing social partners, in this case, more concretely, from European Trade Union Confederation. Marco. Okay. But also a member of the board of EMI, no?
I'm also a member. So thank you very much. I will try to be not too short, but saying a couple of things that I really would like to bring, some messages that I would like to bring into this room. First of all, the trade unions participated very actively in the Conference of Future Europe. We tried to mobilize workers everywhere in Europe, so it was a huge effort, a great time for us, and also not only plenary, but also what was happening around in mobilizing people. I think our ideas are well represented in the conclusions, also thanks to mobilization. So we are happy about that, and we hope that this will continue. A few words on social partnerships and social dialogue, because I don't want this to become a mantra that for most of the people that are not used to industrial relation can be a void concept. I mean, this is important. I mean, many of the ideas that are in the conclusions of the COFOE are want to change the way we produce, we work, and we consume. If we really want to change the way we work and we produce, and mostly how we consume, the organization of workers and the employers are crucial to implement these measures. So we are not only the ones that want to define the conclusions, but we also want to be the one that implements the conclusions together with institutional actors like the parliament, the governments, etc. And probably also receiving the right push from the citizens that are participating in this to force us to do certain things, because not always also social dialogue that, you know, when social partners come together, implements, because we co-regulate the labor market, etc., together with institutions, and we do social dialogue, probably some accountability. I mean, having someone tells you have to deliver is also important. But we are a part of the implementation part, and this is, I think, important to recognize this. Otherwise, is a void concept, but actually is quite a concrete thing when you have social partners on board. Another thing is if the conclusions are useful or not. I have to say that there are some processes at European level that are not taking seriously in consideration the results of the COFOE. I have made reference to the revision of the economic governance. It's not just the text that you can read, because you see, the legislator at European level, they always add the word environment, the word social, so you will find a bit everything. The problem is the spirit. Today we are writing again the fiscal rules, only steering the mutual mistrust of member states. What's the Conference of Future Europe was asking was more cohesion, more vision, and more joining forces for common objectives. And this is what is not happening in the revision of this very important piece of the EU architecture. On the contrary, I have to say that the efforts that Guy was explaining a few moments ago on the treaty revision was at least the attempt to work together across the political forces to have a common. Probably something must be improved because the majority there was a bit, but this is the spirit is important, and there are, and for instance, as ETUC, we will try to starting already in January to organize a number of events to make this report alive, because there are certain things that are very good. I mean, it really invites the reading, because there are certain parts that, for instance, there are some words that are seeds that can grow with beautiful fruits, like the word gender. Including gender, if we really succeed to put gender in the treaties, this is a seed that can produce in future many things, important things. There are also a new vision of the European institutional architecture. This probably needs a lot of debate, not only because the idea can be wrong or right, but because, you know, if you change the institutions, you need a very strong ownership among people. So, and this is probably something that we all can do to create this momentum around this reform. So for me, there an important things. My last point is on the EMI. Actually, I think that's their EMI. We have all the diversity of people represented there. So there is really a place where ideas can exit that are already including a lot of the compromise that we need to have in our society, with the huge value of the compromise. Is a bit of the Monet method. We have a number of people that sit together, even if with all their diversity, but then they come up with a single idea that can really fly. And if the new parliaments will not remember about the conclusions, probably there will be organizations like you see, but also the MI, that will be there to remind them that this exists and this must be brought forward. And I think we have the capacity to do it. Thank you for giving me the possibility to speak here.
Thanks a lot, Marco. And of course, I cannot make any promises, but if the citizens put me back in the parliament will not forget. But of course, we need all the pressure, welcome pressure from citizens and the civil society. So now we give the floor to Hub Verhoeven, also a member of the citizen panels, working in the working groups on EU and the world and migration. Also to continue giving a space to the feedback from this very good experience that was the citizens panels. The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you. Listening in this room and hearing everybody talk about the conference pleases me to be able to answer a question I had during the conference itself. That was, will the proposals we create be taken seriously? This morning, Enrico Letta showed me that it definitely is being taken seriously, as he was looking for ways to implement deliberate democracy into his assignment for creating a report about the EU single market. Also, the Parliament initiating Article 48 and later passing a vote this November shows that the Parliament is taken seriously as well. Later on, hearing Mr. Alonso talk about the conference as well shows again that there's people willing to take action. So 1.5 years, we are still sitting talking about the conference, which means it's not forgotten. And it leads me to answering this question whether, yes, this conference is being taken seriously with the right amount of pressure. I'm sure the proposals will be implemented.
Well, thanks again for this positive feedback, and I think we have now maybe a conclusion. I don't know, Guy, you want to add something before I close?
I think that the idea we have to see that with the Commission, so it would be a little bit stupid that we have 2-3 different initiatives on what to do in the future. So I think that we need absolutely a digital tool, what we did already, and we need to have the experience of a gathering in my opinion, 2 times in a legislative period, or so that, and I can tell you that EMI, like Valeria had said it, wants to be the engine to do that. And then we need to see, can we cooperate with the Commission to have the platform, to continue with the platform? But I think a common initiative of an institution and a civil society, the civil society organization which is representing Europe since 1948, when it was created, 48, 49, that is, in my opinion, the good format. So, and then secondly, I think that we all need to be working on a little bit pressure towards the Belgian presidency that what the Spanish started now is not forgotten. And the way to do that is, I think, that we try to organize in the coming months with the Belgian presidency a meeting on especially the topic. And then three, the new commission. There will be a new commission after the elections. Whatever the composition is, whoever leads it, it will be necessary to remind that what has been done by COFU is not something that disappears because there are elections.
Yes, exactly.
But that needs to be taken on board, I would say, certainly for the working program, the first working program of the new Commission.
Very well, Guy, because, and with this, I think we can conclude, even though, of course, I'll have to take this for important thanks. But before that, this has been a modest exercise. Of course, not the massive event that we were able to do, as you mentioned, Colin, 1 year ago. But we precisely wanted to have this contribution today to show that the process moves forward. But not only that, that we are, particularly from the institutional side, Commission, Committee, European Economic and Social Committee, Parliament and Council, making a modest exercise of accountability to the civil society organizations, to the social partners, to the citizen panelists of what have been done. What is interesting now is that the ball now is in the roof of the one institution that is not here today, which is the European Council. This is an interesting thing. So it is now, after the transmission by the Council, as Guy said at the beginning, they have to, particularly, of course, there are many things in the conference, not only the proposal for a new treaty, as Colin mentioned, but on that response from the European Parliament, now it's for the European Council to decide by simple majority on our proposal. And there we probably will need also the full involvement of everyone here in this table that I think is very representative of the institutions and other entities that participated in the conference. So I encourage you to keep working with all of us to continue, as Guy said, under the Belgian presidency, liaising with the European Council for a positive outcome. And now, just to thank, of course, all the panelists, really, for your wonderful contribution today. To the institutions that participated, the Spanish presidency of the Council, the European Parliament. Here, special thanks to Guillaume and Madalena for making possible. We had the room, the banners, the full logistics, the online connection, the full participation of the parliamentary institution, to the European Economic and Social Committee, that you also have, Oliver, co-sponsored the event with us, so we also appreciate that. And to the European Movement International, Valeria, Petros, also a big contribution from your side as Secretary General, and to the Spinelli Group and to the UEF. And of course, thanks to all of you that have participated physically and online in the meeting. I wanted to ask whether because this I have not followed up strictly in the